One misstep, a sickening crack, and you never walk alone again. This isn't just a nightmare, it is the reality for millions ignoring this one critical nutrient. Forget the expensive produce aisle, the secret to unbreakable bones is hiding in the dead food you probably refuse to buy. Imagine a thief that enters your home not in the dead of night, but in the broad daylight of your 30s. It doesn't steal your jewelry, your money, or your car. Instead, it steals something far more valuable, something you cannot simply buy back with insurance money. It steals your strength. It steals your ability to climb a flight of stairs without gasping for air. It steals the steadiness of your hand and the stability of your legs. Eventually, it steals your independence, leaving you trapped in a body that feels increasingly fragile, where a simple stumble on the carpet isn't just a mistake, it is a life-altering catastrophe. This is not a dramatic movie script. This is the biological reality of aging for millions of people. We call it getting old, but medicine calls it sarcopenia. It is the silent, progressive loss of muscle mass that begins as a slow drip after age 30, stripping away 3 to 8% of your vitality every decade. By the time you cross the threshold of 60, that loss accelerates into a landslide. The terrifying part is not the vanity of losing a toned physique, it is the internal collapse. Sarcopenia is fueled by chronic inflammation and a nutritional deficit that leaves your muscles starving, weak, and unresponsive. It is the primary reason why vibrant, independent adults suddenly find themselves unable to lift a grocery bag or stand up from a low chair without assistance. EldraFit Nutrition welcomes you and sends our warmest greetings to you and your loved ones. We are here today because we refuse to accept this decline as inevitable. We are here because the solution to this crisis is not hidden in a locked pharmaceutical cabinet or an exclusive, overpriced organic market. In fact, the very solution might be gathering dust in your pantry right now, ignored and undervalued. We have been conditioned by society and the food industry to believe a dangerous lie, that fresh is always superior, and that anything inside a metal can is second-rate, dead food, loaded with sodium and devoid of life. You have been told that to fight aging, you must spend a fortune on fresh produce that, ironically, begins to die the moment it is picked. Consider the fresh spinach or beans you buy. They are harvested, loaded onto trucks, sit in distribution centers, and languish on supermarket shelves for days, bleeding out their vital nutrients with every passing hour. By the time they reach your plate, they are often ghosts of their former selves. Conversely, the canned foods we are about to discuss are harvested at the absolute peak of their ripeness, the precise moment when nature has packed them with the maximum amount of vitamins and minerals. Within hours, they are sealed and preserved, locking that nutrition in a time capsule, ready to be deployed exactly when your body needs it most. This is not just about convenience, it is about biological potency. We are talking about affordable, shelf-stable powerhouses that can halt the inflammation, eating your muscles, and provide the building blocks to reconstruct your strength, regardless of your budget or your energy levels. If you are ready to stop wasting money on rotting fresh food and start building a body that defies the calendar, you are in the right place. Before we unlock the vault to these 7 nutritional saviors, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button. Your support is the fuel that allows us to continue researching and bringing you these life-saving insights. Together, we can build a community that stays strong, independent, and vibrant well into our later years. Now, before we reveal the specific foods that can save your muscles, I want you to pause and reflect on your own habits. We need to understand where your mindset is right now regarding nutrition. Question of the day. When you think of a healthy meal to build muscle and strength, what is your immediate instinct? A. I believe I must buy expensive, fresh meat and vegetables from the produce section, even if it stretches my budget and requires a lot of cooking. B. I believe that affordable, preserved foods like canned fish and beans can be just as nutritious or even better because they are convenient and accessible every day. Please type A or B in the comments below. Be honest, there is no wrong answer, but your choice reveals a lot about how the food industry has shaped your beliefs. Let's see how many of us are ready to change our perspective. Let us begin our journey into the pantry with the plant kingdom. specifically looking at two unsung heroes that provide the essential infrastructure for your muscles to function. We often make the mistake of thinking that muscle maintenance is purely about eating meat, about piling steak and chicken onto our plates. While protein is the brick, you cannot build a house without mortar, and you cannot run a machine without electricity. This is where our first nutritional ally enters the stage, a food so often pigeonholed as a holiday dessert that we completely overlook its medicinal power. Coming in at number 7 is canned pumpkin. I need you to be very clear on this. I am not talking about the sugary spiced pie filling that floods the aisles in November. I'm talking about pure, unadulterated mashed pumpkin. This humble orange puree is one of the most potent weapons against sarcopenia because it addresses a critical failure point in the aging body: the electrical signaling of your muscles. You see, muscle weakness is not always about a lack of tissue. Sometimes it is about a failure to communicate. Your muscles require potassium to contract, to fire, and to move with precision. Without adequate potassium, your muscles become sluggish, weak, and prone to cramping. A single cup of canned pumpkin delivers a massive payload of 500 milligrams of potassium, acting as the electrolyte spark that keeps your neuromuscular system firing efficiently. Furthermore, that deep, vibrant orange color is not just for show. It is the visual signature of beta-carotene, a powerful antioxidant that your body converts into vitamin A. This is crucial because sarcopenia is driven by oxidative stress that damages the very membranes of your muscle cells. The beta-carotene in canned pumpkin acts as a shield, protecting the structural integrity of your cells and ensuring that the muscle you have remains healthy and functional. It is a biological defense system available for less than $2 a can. Moving down our list to number 6, we find the quiet guardian of your metabolism: canned white beans. Whether they are cannellini, navy, or great northern beans, these are nutritionally identical powerhouses. While they are indeed an excellent source of plant-based protein, their true value in fighting muscle loss lies in their ability to manipulate your hormones. One of the greatest enemies of muscle mass in older adults is cortisol. When you eat refined foods that cause your blood sugar to spike and then crash, your body panics and releases cortisol. This stress hormone is catabolic, meaning it literally breaks down your muscle tissue to provide quick energy for the body. It is a self-cannibalizing process that destroys your strength. Canned white beans are the antidote to this cycle. Packed with 12 to 15 grams of fiber per cup, they create a slow, sustained release of energy that prevents blood sugar crashes. By keeping your blood sugar stable, you keep cortisol at bay, effectively locking the door so that your muscle tissue remains safe. I know what you are thinking: the sodium. It is the most common objection I hear. But the solution is ridiculously simple. By dumping the beans into a colander and rinsing them under cold water for just 30 seconds, you wash away 40% of that sodium. What remains is a pure, heart-healthy, muscle-preserving superfood that requires absolutely no cooking. You are left with the fiber, the protein, and the minerals, minus the salt concern. These two plant-based staples provide the spark and the stability your body is desperate for. Now that we have established the electrical spark and the hormonal defense from our plant-based allies, we must address the fundamental architecture of your body. You cannot build a fortress out of air. You need raw materials. In the fight against sarcopenia, protein is not a luxury. It is a biological requirement. However, as we age, the simple act of preparing a high-protein meal can become a monumental task. Standing over a stove, chopping raw meat, and dealing with cleanup can sometimes feel impossible when your energy is low or your joints ache. This is where our third nutritional champion, canned chicken, becomes indispensable. Canned chicken represents the gold standard of practical protein. It removes every barrier between you and the nutrition you need. It is lean, it is cooked, and it is waiting for you. Many people dismiss it because of the texture or the smell right out of the can, but let me share a secret that transforms this humble staple. Do not just eat it wet and cold. Drain it and toss it into a hot pan with a little olive oil and garlic for just 2 minutes. This simple act revitalizes the meat, giving it a texture and aroma indistinguishable from a freshly roasted bird. By keeping a stack of these cans in your pantry, you possess a safety net that lasts for years. On days when you feel too weak to cook, you can still nourish your muscles with 30 grams of pure, high-quality protein in moments. Descending to number 2, we find the most ubiquitous and economically accessible protein source on the planet, canned tuna. This is the people's protein, costing merely $1 or $2, yet delivering a nutritional punch that rivals expensive cuts of meat. However, we must navigate this choice with intelligence to avoid the accumulation of mercury. The marketing labels can be confusing, but the rule is simple. Choose light tuna over white, or albacore. Light tuna comes from smaller skipjack fish that have far lower mercury levels, making them a safer choice for regular consumption. To truly unlock the potential of tuna for muscle preservation, we need to rethink how we serve it. The traditional method of drowning it in mayonnaise adds empty calories that do little for your strength. Instead, try mashing your tuna with a ripe avocado. This substitution changes the game entirely. The avocado provides healthy fats that help your body absorb the fat-soluble vitamins present in the fish, while the tuna delivers the amino acids required for repair. This combination creates a nutrient-dense meal that supports not just muscle synthesis, but overall vitality, proving that the most effective solutions are often the simplest and most affordable ones, sitting right on your grocery store shelf. We have secured the bricks and the mortar, but now we must confront the arsonist. Chronic inflammation is the silent fire that burns down muscle tissue faster than you can rebuild it, and it is the primary driver of sarcopenia in the aging body. To extinguish this fire and fortify the skeletal frame upon which your muscles hang, we turn to the elite class of our pantry, the oily fish. This is the realm where canned food does not just equal fresh food, it actually surpasses it in biological utility. Consider number 5, canned wild salmon. If you were to buy fresh wild Alaskan salmon at the seafood counter, it would cost a small fortune, and you would likely discard the most mineral-rich part, the bones. However, in the canning process, these bones become soft, undetectable, and entirely edible. By consuming them, you are ingesting a matrix of natural calcium that synthetic supplements simply cannot replicate. You must understand that you cannot hang heavy, strong muscle on a brittle skeleton. The two must be built together, and canned salmon provides the raw materials for both. This synergy helps us transition to number 4, the mighty sardine. I know many of you recoil at the thought of them, but please look past the stigma and the strong flavor. These tiny fish are perhaps the safest and most nutrient-dense food in the ocean. Because they exist at the bottom of the food chain, they are virtually free of mercury, yet they deliver a massive, concentrated dose of vitamin D alongside their calcium. This pairing is non-negotiable. Without vitamin D, the calcium you eat cannot be effectively absorbed into your bones. Sardines offer this perfect biological package for mere pennies, making them a superfood in every sense of the word. But standing alone at the summit, the absolute number 1 food for killing sarcopenia is canned mackerel. It wears the crown for a specific reason. While tuna and salmon are excellent, mackerel delivers a staggering amount of omega-3 fatty acids, up to 2,000 milligrams per can. This is a therapeutic dose capable of systematically lowering the systemic inflammation that drives muscle wasting. Furthermore, mackerel is exceptionally rich in vitamin B12, a nutrient that becomes harder for older adults to absorb. B12 is critical for nerve health, and remember, your muscles do nothing without a signal from your nerves. Mackerel protects that communication line, ensuring that when your brain commands movement, your body obeys with strength, speed, and precision. It is the ultimate, low-cost insurance policy for your independence. Knowledge is merely potential power. It becomes actual power only when you apply it. We have walked through the science, debunked the myths, and identified the nutritional weapons that can halt the decay of your body. But watching this video alone will not add a single ounce of muscle to your frame or save you from a fall. The battle against sarcopenia is won or lost in the grocery store, and more importantly, in the consistency of your daily habits. I want you to view your pantry not just as a place to store food, but as your tactical reserve, your personal armory against aging. My strategic advice to you is simple. Stock up. Do not buy 1 can, buy 10. These foods have a shelf life of 3 to 5 years. By keeping a deep reserve of mackerel, salmon, chicken, and beans, you eliminate the most dangerous excuse of all: I am too tired to cook. On days when your energy is low, when the weather is bad, or when life simply gets in the way, these cans ensure that you never miss a dose of the protein and minerals your body is screaming for. Create a simple rotation for yourself. Dedicate 3 days a week to the oily fish, mackerel, salmon, or sardines, to keep your inflammation low and your bones dense. Fill the other days with the reliable protein of chicken and the fiber-rich stability of beans. It does not need to be complicated to be effective. The goal is to make nutrition the path of least resistance. Remember, the cost of a can of sardines is perhaps $2. The cost of a hip fracture, of losing your mobility, of becoming dependent on others for your basic needs, is incalculable. You have the knowledge and you have the access. Now you must have the resolve. Go to the store, fill your shelves, and take ownership of your future. This is Dr. Thomas Reed, reminding you that your strength is a choice you make every single time you eat. Stay strong, stay independent, and I will see you in the next video. We have traversed the landscape of senior nutrition today, moving from the terrifying reality of sarcopenia to the practical, accessible solutions sitting on the shelves of your local grocery store. We have debunked the persistent myth that healthy eating requires a chef's skill set or a millionaire's budget. The truth we have uncovered is that the most powerful tools for preserving your independence are often the most humble. From the potassium-rich pumpkin and fiber-dense beans that support your body's basic functions, to the convenient protein of chicken and tuna that rebuilds your tissues, and finally to the elite, inflammation-fighting power of oily fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel. These are not merely emergency rations. They are nutritional powerhouses harvested at their peak and preserved for your protection. The deep lesson, the most profound lesson here, extends beyond nutrition. It is a lesson about consistency over perfection. We live in a culture that fetishizes the perfect diet, fresh, organic, farm-to-table meals that look beautiful on social media. But for many older adults, striving for this perfection often leads to failure. When you are tired or in pain or worried about money, the perfect fresh meal never gets cooked, and you end up eating toast or nothing at all. That is when sarcopenia wins. The lesson is that the best food is the one you actually eat consistently. A can of mackerel eaten on a Tuesday afternoon because it was easy to open is infinitely better for your body than the fresh fish you intended to buy but didn't because it was too expensive or too much work. True health is not built on occasional feats of culinary excellence. It is built on the daily, unglamorous habit of feeding your muscles what they need. Canned food removes the friction from this habit. It democratizes health, making strength accessible to everyone, regardless of age, energy, or income. How to apply this? Start by removing the guilt associated with shortcuts. Do not apologize for opening a can. Celebrate it as a strategic victory. Your application for this week is to build your safety net. Go to the store and buy 2 cans from each category we discussed. Put them in your cupboard. Look at them and realize that they represent days where you will not be weak, days where you will not be hungry, and days where you are actively fighting for your future. When you feel too exhausted to cook, let that be your trigger to reach for the can opener, knowing you are making a superior choice for your longevity. Question for you. I want to hear from you in the comments below, as your feedback helps our community grow smarter together. Here's a simple question. Which one of the 7 canned foods on today's list was the biggest surprise to you, and which one are you planning to buy on your next trip to the store? Please leave your answer in the comments. I read them to understand what helps you the most. And finally, if this video gave you a new perspective on how to protect your strength, please subscribe to EldraFit Nutrition. Your subscription gives us the motivation to keep fighting for the truth and to keep bringing you practical, life-saving content. Stay strong, and thank you for watching.